Tonight at 10, the remaining COVID restrictions in England are set to be lifted at the end of this month, 4 weeks earlier than planned. It would end 2 years of regulations, including self-isolation for anyone testing positive.
It is my expectation that we will be able to end the last domestic restrictions, including the legal requirement to self-isolate if you test positive, a full month early.
But the announcement of the changes was far from being a well-thought-out strategy, according to Labour.
Some throwaway remarks at the start of Prime Minister's questions were more about digging the Prime Minister out of a political hole than dealing with the serious challenge facing the country.
During the day, another image emerges of a gathering in Downing Street during lockdown. Police say that they'll now review the decision not to investigate that event, and they also say they'll be sending questionnaires to more than 50 people about the lockdown parties. Also tonight, the West Ham player filmed kicking his cat is said to be extremely remorseful. The RSPCA has now seized 2 cats from his home. A man who murdered his fiancée in 2016 has now been convicted of killing his wife 6 years earlier. And a discovery in a French cave shows that the modern human arrived in Europe thousands of years earlier than previously thought.
And coming up in sport on the BBC News Channel, looking to win the Club World Cup for the first time in their history, Romelu Lukaku helps Chelsea into the final.
Good evening. The remaining COVID restrictions in England are now set to be lifted at the end of this month, 4 weeks earlier than previously planned. The shortened timescale was announced by Boris Johnson, who said it all depended on the current downward trend continuing, but he fully expected that to be the case. It would end the rule that anyone testing positive for COVID or showing symptoms should self-isolate. The Prime Minister also said he intended to set out a new strategy for living with COVID within weeks. But scientists have warned that the disease still poses a real risk, especially to the vulnerable and to the unvaccinated. Our health editor, Huw Edwards, has more details.